Hi everybody. So today I want to talk about finding shadowing experiences, specifically while you're in college. Looking for clinical experiences can be really difficult, especially when you're in college. I wanted to spend some time talking about how I was able to find 10 different doctors to shadow while I was in college. So let's get started. So first I want to start with saying that it's not the number of doctors that you shadow that it's important. What's important is that you find meaningful shadowing experiences, ones that kind of drive or fuel your decision to go into medicine, finding doctors that you want to emulate, finding doctors who maybe you don't want to emulate, but you're aware that maybe that's what the specialty is like, or this is the kind of doctor, realizing that there's different kinds of doctors, ones that do all clinics, some that do some administration, some that do some research, some that do a blend of all of that. And so it's important to find, just a diverse amount of shadowing experiences. I think finding 10 different doctors was a bit much. I think what's more important is establishing relationships with physicians so that, they can write you direct letters or just be good support systems or just people who can give you resources later down the road. I don't have any physicians in my family, so finding doctors to shadow was a little bit difficult. Well, I won't say difficult, but it took a little bit of effort. So the three different methods that I use were looking for programs that specifically allowed students to shadow, sending cold emails to different physicians, and leveraging your network to find physicians to shadow. The first method is to find a program that specifically houses shadowing experiences for college students. I did two of those such programs. One was a research program that took place in the summer. The research program I did was a pre-med centered program that allowed students to build some research skills, but they also had some workshops to help us with our personal statements, working on our AMCAS applications, or getting started and thinking about our AMCAS applications. But what I wanted to talk about was this program. It was a 10-week program, and they allowed us to shadow physicians during 2 days of the summer. So that doesn't sound like much, but you're able to see, even in half a shift or in a morning shift, you can see a bunch of different kinds of patients. And it was really interesting. I was able to shadow an epileptologist and also a neuromuscular specialist. So I was able to shadow two different kinds of neurologists throughout that program. The second program I did was a volunteering program. I volunteered at a children's hospital for one night every week for 2 semesters. And at the end of your second semester, you're eligible to apply for a shadowing experience. So that sounds like a lot, doing 2 semesters of work for 1 day of shadowing. But it's super worth it. And also you're still getting volunteering experience, or at least I was through that program. I was set up for 1 day of shadowing, but I was set up for 2 procedures. So one, I shadowed a physician conducting a laparoscopic hernia repair. And the other procedure, I shadowed a doctor doing the tonsillectomy. And those are different procedures. One was with a baby and another was with a teenager. Again, this was a children's hospital. But also I got to see 2 different environments in the OR. During the hernia repair, it was a quieter environment. Not quiet, but there were fewer people in the room. It was the attending, I think 1 or 2 residents, and I think I was the only student there. The other one, the tonsillectomy, was a larger room. There was the attending, I think 2 or 3 residents, other surgical staff, and I think 1 med student there. And so in different situations, he had abilities to engage with a different amount of people. More importantly, it was for me to see two different examples of what an OR could look like. And that was really important and really helpful, given that that was my first experience in the OR. So that was looking for programs that had shadowing built in. The next is kind of the more popular, kind of the spray and pray method, and it's sending cold emails. I must have sent dozens of emails to physicians who I was interested in shadowing. Out of these dozens of physicians that I sent emails to, I heard back from 3 of them who were willing to let me shadow. One was a pediatric cardiologist, another was a general cardiologist, and the other was a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon. They were all very meaningful experiences. I learned a lot. The surgeon was nice enough to let me shadow him in the clinic, doing consults as well as in the OR. So that was another experience I got to see in the operating room. And the last method is leveraging any kind of social network that you have. Again, I didn't have any physicians in my family, but I had a friend whose mom is an ophthalmologist, and I was able to shadow her mom, and she was able to show me around the clinic and show me the different kinds of tools that she used. I also shadowed my family pediatrician, who sees my nieces and nephews and some of my cousins. So if you have a family member going to the doctor that you know well enough, and they have a good relationship with their doctor, maybe you can ask them if you can shadow. Along those same lines, I had a classmate back in college who knew I was pre-med, but then my friend got into some kind of acute emergency. I forgot exactly what it was, but he ended up in the hospital, and during that time, he noticed one of the physicians was just super cool, just really helpful, and told the physician, hey, my friend Tony is a pre-med student, and he's super cool, and it'd be great if you could shadow, if you could have him shadow, could I get your email? And so eventually he got the doctor's email, gave it to me, I sent him an email, and I was able to shadow. And so he was really cool. He ended up being a generalist at a hospital, and he took me to different floors. I shadowed him twice. I got to see like a wide range of patients in the city, just a wide spread of different conditions. I think that was probably one of my most fulfilling experiences, and I stay in touch with this physician to this day. He's been very supportive and has been really helpful in my journey to medicine, especially in applying to medical school. So there you have it. That's how I shadowed 10 different doctors while I was in college. Again, it's not the amount, it's how much you can take away from these experiences. Since college, I actually did 3 gap years, so I had more opportunity to shadow physicians as well. But I think 10 is like plenty. I think that's more than enough, actually. And again, it's not the number. Get those meaningful experiences. One additional note, this all happened before the pandemic. I understand that it's really difficult to shadow physicians now, especially with the restrictions regarding COVID. But these are techniques that I used in college. Hopefully they can still apply to some extent here. Now in this time. And the most important note is just be creative and stay on the lookout for these experiences. I know it can be difficult, especially because you're really busy, you're in college, you're studying, or maybe you're out of college and you're working, but these opportunities are out there. You just kind of have to look for them, and unfortunately it's going to take a little bit of work, but what's new, right? Anyway, that's how I found 10 different doctors to shadow while I was in college. I hope this was helpful. Signing off, this is Tony Chang, MS1.